Good morning, everybody. This is Adam Gordon and Fred Cohen.
Morning.
And we are OSG. We help grow cybersecurity companies. And we're here to talk about the intersection of marketing and cybersecurity and all the odd ways that they might complement each other, or all the odd things we might think about that.
All right, so I've just changed chairs from the one that squeaks to one that doesn't. And I noticed that on the screen we have, oh, wait a minute. It's now got some red in it.
Yeah.
So we have our evolving web presence that's going to move from, sort of the initial concept into the draft into the amazing. And I noticed it says our hackers are here as we help grow cybersecurity companies. I was sort of wondering when this thing is going to move up to where this is and vice versa.
That's a good question.
All right, well, great, good question. But that's not the topic for today, right? The topic
no, but
today
it's an interesting question because of the thoughts that you and I have about the website in general, which is that it's going to kind of be epigenetic. It's going to respond to its environment. So as we get feedback on it, and as the market tells us where it likes to go, we're going to respond to that. So right now we're in the phase of letting this be here, and we're going to see what response we get to this, and then we'll switch things up. And anybody who's actually interested in this experiment or talking to us about the data we're developing, we're happy to talk anytime.
All right, but are we happy to listen?
Well, that's another thing entirely.
All right, just saying. All right. So today's topic is the antifred website. Antifred. And you have that getting ready or setting on your computer, and we're going to get to that in a minute. But I thought before we show what an anti-Fred website is, we should start by showing what a Fred website is.
Yes.
Here is a Fred website. So how would you characterize this? It's low on content, right?
No, it's high on content. It's very high on content.
Low on design, right?
Low on design.
So when you say design, I think it's high on design, or maybe I was high when I did it, but one way or the other. Now, I didn't get the graphic the way I want it. This thing up here is intended to be a circle around my head with the different sort of spheres of areas where I work, all clickable with content. So you can, when you click on one of these things, it'll come down here to Fearless Security or whatever. And there you'll see Fearless Security and its logo, whatever, and you click on here and you get to the Fearless Security site, which was actually the next thing I was going to bring up anyway.
Yeah.
So that's Fearless Security. Now, this is obviously not a Fred site.
Obviously not.
Obvious, could not possibly be a Fred site.
No.
Here's the Fred version of that site.
Right.
So, so obviously, the Fred version has, it's not as pretty, it's not as good looking, it's just not going to make it, it's not going to attract people, right?
Right.
So I've done what you call A/B testing, and this one's better at getting what I want done than this, by far.
And what is that you want done?
Okay. So that's the critical function here, right? So the purpose of a website is whatever its purpose is defined by the people that put up, right? And it's the same with any marketing, right? It's designed to cause an effect, right?
Yes.
So what's the effect here? Well, the effect here is if somebody looks up Fearless, they'll see something and they'll contact us, right? Contact. But we have the home page and we have the about page. Ooh, cool. Great. All right. Basically the same stuff. And the real purpose, the message we're trying to convey here is people are not coming here on their own to find Fearless Security. It's not like you go and search and say, boy, I want some security thing, and you find it, right? We have another site that does that for other things. But the purpose of this is we have people that we're already talking to through a different sales process. We are we have channel partners. Fearless runs exclusively through channel partners. So what we want is if somebody has to go and look at Fearless, we don't really want our name out there so much. Somebody has to look at Fearless, they're going to see, trusted, effective, easy. And our whole process is designed around, we have what you need, you can trust us, and it's easy.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the fundamental of what we're selling is what you can, please, in the cybersecurity space, it's all, well, I don't know if I trust you, right? This recent in the news we saw, or somewhere we saw that an Israeli company, that's doing some sort of detection or whatever services is apparently giving intel, collecting intel on people.
Right.
And providing it presumably to the Israeli government, but maybe the Russians, I have no idea. But because I didn't read the details of the story. So what we're saying is, you can trust us, right? And we're doing that by putting our names up here and so forth. But it's not intended to convince anybody. It's because by the time they come here, if they're one of our channel partners or trying to become one, we're just looking to not piss them off. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
offend.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy as fundamental, right? Because when you come to Fearless, it's like, how do I do this? It's easy here. We'll send out a deal, you sign it, you arrange for us to get paid, and we do the work, and we have all sorts of methods that make it easy on you. All the support stuff we do to support our customers, channel partners.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't have to do work. They don't have to develop this. They don't have to develop that. We have it all. The execution's down solid. So that's what it's trying to convey. This one, and you can change the reasonable and prudent to whatever you want. And I took security off of the Fearless up there. You can put security, but whatever you want to do. The point is, this is sort of telling a story. And the image is just a generic, security picture. Oh, there's security or something picked out by a student. And this is just a standard sort of website thing. It has the sliding windows, which I don't believe are sensible at all.
And actually, from a purely design standpoint, what my designers are telling me these days anyway is that parallax websites are so 2010.
Yeah, I know, they're so old.
Yeah.
They're just not in fashion. Whereas this was never intended to be in fashion.
Exactly.
Which is to say, now, all right. So that's Fearless. So that's now here's a completely different purpose. I'm sorry, I'm gonna get out of this Fearless thing here and get over to all.net. Now we're talking. Here's the website of all websites.
I think you should show the cybersecurity overview.
Which one is that? You mean the protection tab over here?
Or the protection model, yeah.
Sure.
This is way a Fred site.
Yeah, clickable diagram. Anything you click on it tells you about it down below. Mm-hmm. All these things, right? Whatever you're dealing with. This is the picture, and then you go to like the standards of practice for ICS security. And it's got, gobs of these things, and each one of these things has, details and diagrams. Yeah, this is a whole you can find papers and, go look. It's extremely functional, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is, it's got functions. The purpose of this, by the way, is twofold. One of them is it's a resource site. It's basically a reference for people that are working on these issues.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also for sales. But it's not for people to look at on their own. It's when I'm having a conversation with you over a Zoom session for me to go click on that and show you what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's visualization so that you understand what I'm saying, and so you're getting multimodal. Now, forensics, we have a similar thing for forensics, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can click on any of the forensics things and find out about the legal context and other such stuff there, right? So. And we have our analyst page with articles written over years, right? And we have our courses page, with webinars. So there's an enormous amount of information here. This is sort of our most advertising part of it, which nobody even looks at that. We don't get it. Who cares? But so it's a library type of a site. That's what's providing, that library type of facility.
Mm-hmm.
And it's useful in me walking people through things or you walking people through things. So that's its purpose. It's just a completely different purpose. It also has tools that are useful. Here's another one this is Thoughtful Toys. This is mine. And you know, the interesting thing about Thoughtful Toys is, you know, I don't know if you can see that, but you might notice that
the dots are changing color, Fred.
Are they?
Yeah.
No, they're not. This is a dazzlement. But in any case, right? That's the scintillating. In any case, the you know, Thoughtful is clearly, you know, this is another, you know, Fred site. Okay, you can just tell. Here's Angel to Exit. That's our last Fred site. You know, this is, you know, way more graphically impressive and has, you know, the background A to E there in the background. You know, it doesn't slide around, but it's there. And all right, so that's what you've come to expect, you know, and you are likely to get whenever you come to a Fred Cohen website. Okay, so that's Fred Cohen. We spent 10 minutes on it. So let's go to the anti-Fred Cohen. Are you ready to share yours?
Let me just make sure I've got it. Yes, I am ready to share mine.
All right, I'll stop my share and you can start yours. There you go.
We want that one. Okay.
There it is.
You should now be seeing my screen.
I can see your screen, yeah. Or some portion of one of your screens, yeah.
Does it say, is it a big picture with residents in the middle?
Oh, no, it's a whole screen with your directories and your disks, all that, Cyber, Stella. So I'm probably looking at the wrong screen here.
I think you're looking at the wrong screen.
Or from my perspective, oh, cool, I just figured out all sorts of things about what you're doing. That, oh my God, intelligence, you've accidentally given away intelligence. Oh my God.
Oh no.
There might be PII on there. All right, so that is, by the way, the cybersecurity response to the, oh my God. But now we're back to really the issue.
Yes. So
the site?
This is the anti-Fred site.
So this is different than the site I saw.
Yes, this is the homepage of the site that I sent you to. We'll look at that site in just a second, but this is very similar in what it does. And as you can see, this looks nothing like Fred's site.
No, and this is gorgeous.
It's beautiful, yeah.
I don't know exactly what they sell, but clearly, you know, I get it. The House of Beautiful Business. This is about beauty and doing business. I don't understand the residence thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it looks like a nice place to live.
And
the heat's not very good.
And you're not supposed to. See, your sites are concerned with communicating information. And so they do that really well. And that's what they're designed to do. That's what they do. This site is designed to communicate an entirely different kind of information. This site's designed to communicate emotional information. So there's much less words. It's much more visual. It's much warmer feeling. And it's interesting. I think this is a very interesting picture. Where is this place? What are these people doing? They're obviously involved in something. Are they residents? And so when we scroll down, we get to see who these residents actually are.
Oh, so first of all, now I understand that what the site was about once I scrolled down.
Right.
But how did I know to scroll down?
Well, on this one, it might be hidden because of this. By this little arrow right here that says scroll down when you roll over it.
Okay, but this violates your rule, the 7-second rule or whatever. That.
No, I think this actually does it pretty well. In 7 seconds, I think you get you're drawn into this. To use very, very non-technical, brandy, swishy kind of language, this has deep emotional gravity. This is like an emotional black hole. It kind of draws your emotions in. At least it does for me. It's very.
Well, you're right about drawing me in.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I want to look down. So
well, I don't know about looking down, but I'm staying there a lot longer than 7 seconds. Just to cog this into my brain takes. It's a lot to grok.
Yeah. And
you're right.
And one of the things I think that you're probably feeling right now is curiosity. It's like, oh, what is this? So I would say this page does its job about as well as your pages do their job.
So here's the thing. This takes time to grok.
Yeah.
And by the way, clearly my site, if you're trying to understand everything it says, takes years to grok, right? So when people are, so how do you get here? What drives you to here that causes you to say, pretty picture, I'm moving on, I have work to do, right? As opposed to, oh, that's interesting, maybe I'll explore, right? So if I'm in an exploring mode, yes. If I'm coming here, if I got here for some reason, I'm looking for something and this is consistent with that, I have cognitive resonance, and that's a yes. Yeah, okay, I'll look. But if not, it's dissonant with my rapid search methodology and the search methodology people use, right?
Yes. And what you've just told us, and I think that's an important point, is that you would have paused on this site at least long enough to take it in a little bit more, because it is very striking. And that's part of actually my secret sauce, is when I help my companies, one of the things that I help them to do is to understand the human physiology of attention. And how that starts is with an emotional reaction. Your emotions are about 1,000 times faster than the part of your brain that thinks. So if you don't, in your marketing, first inspire some kind of emotion, then people aren't interested in so much. And people like you, who are rapid searchers, blow right by them. So there's two ways to deal with that. You either provide a lot of information really quickly, which is what you like to do, or you really inspire an emotion, which is what this is doing. And they have very different effects, and we'll talk about that as we go on.
Yeah, can I do both?
Yes, you can.
They have not done both.
They have not done both. They have chosen, like I said, this is the anti-Fred site. This is kind of the exact opposite.
You've gone silent, Adam. Can't hear you.
Say again?
Well, while Adam fixes his microphone.
Oh. Apparently my internet connection is unstable. Sorry.
Oh, there you go. You're back. Your microphone. Sorry. Continue.
So as I was saying, this is really the anti-Fred site. This is, you're kind of at one Six Sigma point, and these guys are at the other Six Sigma point. So
I scroll down, by the way, so we can see what they're talking about, because I am curious now that I've spent 10 minutes looking at it.
And now that we're down here, these people have very interesting titles. The Elite Charade of Changing the World, or Cyborg Art, very interesting. But the page that I sent you to the other day was this one, which is a very also interesting nav item, which is how it feels. And this is the site that you first reacted to. And I gave it to you out of context, so I apologize about that. And it was intentional. So I think this is another page that does its job fantastically well.
And it looks very different on your browser than on mine.
Really?
Yeah. So the how it feels at the top there, that light bulb was over top of it, so you couldn't see it. And the House of Beautiful Business, you couldn't see, because it had one of these light bars going over it.
Yeah. You know,
okay. Yeah. The difference between how people see it in different environments is very important.
That's right. And that's one of the bugaboos of actual digital marketing these days, is it has gotten so complicated to be able to present a constant good experience that people are just
we should go back to my sites, which you can change the size and the shape and do all sorts of things to, and they still present the same, detailed smattering of complex information.
Yes. That's why this kind of marketing is just harder. And in fact, the famous giants whose shoulders I stand on, the guys who, invented American style marketing, they had the same problem. They had the same problem with print quality and color televisions and radio quality. Just this is a little bit more visual, and it's faster than that stuff. So as I was saying, this, I think, does its job really well. So the other thing to talk about are the differences in audiences at this point. Your audiences, you know who they are. They're in a sales process, and your site is designed to enable transactions to happen or processes to happen as quickly as possible. Yeah.
Good. All right. So,
okay. Oh,
yeah, I'm here. I don't like the green.
Okay.
I think that the green color is is the make me puke site color. Generally red and blue. Well, I mean, look, so if you're trying to generate an emotion that says this is disgusting, congratulations.
Well, again, you're not the audience. And the other point about that is, yeah, green is a really tough color electronically, and which is why you don't see a lot of it, which is why I find this so striking, because you very rarely see such big swaths of green on the web. So it's, again, a very striking site. And remember the audience that they are sending this to. As I just mentioned, Fred, your sites are more transactional or process driven. They're intended to drive somebody through and get done with something. And that's a really valid and important sales process. And it's not the only way you can approach sales. So the House of Beautiful business has been around for a number of years. They have built a brand. And what that brand has done over time, and I have a few clients in the space that are going to this conference or are considering going to this conference. And what the brand has done over time is now the people who go to the conference and the communities around them influence each other and pressure each other to come to the conference. One client in particular is being told by several people, oh, just come. And it's in Spain and it's 4 days, so it's not the least expensive thing in the world. And they don't have to sell anymore. Their community is selling for them. And so that kind of branding, that kind of marketing is entirely different than what your sites are for, which is get it done, boom, 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 move them on. This is building an emotional space that people then build a community around, and they encourage each other to participate.
See, and I can understand that if you're trying to build a community surrounding beauty. So there's by the way, there's a huge difference between trying to get to activity, right? It's all about execution and systematic and being efficient, and building sort of the long-term brand, if you will, right? So my brand is expertise, efficiency, knowledge that you get immediately. I had a gig last night for 1 hour that pays $1,000 over the phone, right? Have a 1 hour phone call and get $1,000, right? And that's the perfect kind of gig for me, because in an hour I can deliver a pile of information, answer questions about things I know about that you don't. That's great, right? But that's a transaction, and that doesn't produce the longer term business, right?
Right.
Although and there's another issue here, and that is having to do with the sizing of these things, right? So the size of the thing you're selling. So a lot of enterprises, they're making sales that are 10, 20, $50 million sales, and it takes a couple of years, and you might start out with effectively a loss leader. You're doing some work for free, and you're doing something for $50K that costs you $100, and it takes years to get through this process. So it's an important thing to understand that startups generally don't have that kind of time or that kind of money.
Yeah.
And it's an advantage of the enterprise that they can do that. The advantage of the small startup is presumably they're agile and they're efficient, right? And if you're going to
they have a new way of doing something that everybody wants.
Well, they want now, right?
Yes.
That's really important, right? So when you go from, you try to get these startups that can scale, you're starting to get into very niche situations. You really need a very specific path forward that you can get there quickly. And a lot of people, I think, make the mistake of saying, well, it took a year to get through this instead of 6 months. It's not that important. No, it may also have to do with the fact that I'm getting older, but I was never that patient when I was younger for spending a year for somebody to make a decision, right? So you're right. Building a society is a completely different thing than making a sale.
Right. And you're absolutely right. And actually, that brings up a topic that I'm writing an article about at the moment on branding and startups. Because I have a lot of startups that come to me and ask, should we invest in doing branding? And my answer, almost all of the time, and not always, because there are always extraordinary circumstances, is no, don't do that. Build a logo, make a look that you're comfortable with and that is authentically you, and that's the important part. At the early stages of marketing, at the early stages of a company's life, the brand is whoever the 2 or 3 or 5, whatever the number is, people there, and it needs to reflect that. As you get bigger, that changes. But until you are at a stage where you actually have a reasonable audience and you can actually interact with that audience, building a brand is just a futile effort. And if any startups are listening to this, that's my recommendation. Don't build a brand, just go get a logo that you like, go get a set of colors and a style that you like, and just go with it. Don't worry about building a brand yet. That's enough marketing assets for you to do what you guys need to do.
Yeah, aren't you, cutting off your fees here?
Well, maybe, but I don't like taking people's money when I shouldn't be.
Ah, okay, there you go. Important point. All right, good. All right, so we're about at the end of the time. We talked about what we're going to talk about next time, and what was that?
We were going to talk, wait, we had a subject picked out and now I can't think of it.
Oh, I remember. It just popped back into my head.
Okay.
And now it just popped out again, but it'll come back in a second. No, so the subject is support and maintenance part of sales and marketing?
Yes.
All right, now we're not going to say anything more about it now. We're just going to say goodbye, and you'll have to wait till next week.
And so goodbye, everybody, and have a good week.